All right, we are live, and the New York Mets took their talents to South Beach, took the soul out of the Miami Marlins, and finished the July resupply with a 17
The July resupply. Let's go. I love that.
A plus 41 run differential. Won series against the Big Bad Braves and the unbeatable Bronx Bombers. Made 2 solid trades with more to come. And the best pitcher in baseball is coming back tomorrow night. And by the way, the Mets went 11-4 since Frank the Tank had to shut the fuck up. The negativity tweets have been the curse. The negativity is the curse, and the New York Mets are a motherfucking wagon.
Let's just do some simple cause and effect. Let's just take a look at the correlation. Was it Lindor's finger getting stuck in the door? Probably. Or was it that Frank Fleming finally shut the fuck up? Was, Escobar, easy out Escobar, turning into a clutch hitter here and there? Was it because Frank is shutting his big fat mouth? I think maybe so. Maybe if you support the team, they do well. Just a hunch, just a fucking thought, man. Idiots.
And shout out to the Miami Marlins who, with like their most feared players on the IL, are everything I would hope they'd be. Hey, they still had 2 pitchers who could pitch, and they couldn't even do that very well. So it was,
doors off, man. That was a minor league team. Anything less than a sweep would have been probably disappointing. But boy, is it nice to not have the Marlins be a problem. That's one of the little. There's a lot of big. This team is different. One of the little ones. We're not going to celebrate. Congrats to the Yankees on their World Series coming back against the Royals. We're not going to throw a party in the streets for beating the Marlins, but they are a team that usually was just like a motherfucker. And man, did we beat the absolute piss out of those guys.
Like, picture this scenario. We're going to Miami. It's a dog days of summer. We're facing their 2 best pitchers. Line up a bit scuffling. Gary Cohen's on vacation, so they don't have him in the booth. I tell you all this, you're thinking, this is a series they probably get swept and lose 2 out of 3. It's miserable. Yeah. They swept it like it's nothing. So
like that was, again, we usually can count probably still on one hand the amount of truly like easy games and series. We had a couple, very few though, where it was like we just dog walked whoever it was. This was one of those where it was just like there. And I am expecting the same thing here from the Nationals as well. I think we're about to roll the way that we've all been waiting for. Like 2 out of 3 every single time, 3 out of 4 every single time is great. But we were missing that, chunk of winning, like the way the Braves did. And I think we're going to do it. And I think it's going to be including the Braves. I think that 5-game series, I think we could not be hotter rolling into it. And, that was something I had marked on the calendar as, terrified. I'm not saying we're going to get a 5-game sweep by any means. But I think stepping up and winning. What's great is having Max and Jake at the back end of that, right? Because they'll pitch in – like the 5-game series, as much as I've been dreading it, actually works out for us because we'll be able to have Jake and Max pitch in against the Nats and then the back end. So if you take like 1 or 2 up front and then that you got your 2 aces in the back end, it would just be a way to really put the nail in the coffin on the NL East. Like we already absolutely dominate in the division. And if you sweep the Nats and then do work on the Braves, it would be, then we're rolling, man. Then I start to get real confident and cocky.
Not to mention, that's the only way we're even going to gain any ground because the D-backs did us no favors this past weekend. They suck. What happened? That was like our saving grace. We're going to pick up the game.
They had played the Braves well. I think they were playing well in general, but the Braves sweep, we sweep, all good, no blood. Yep. I think at some point the Braves fans have got to be at least a little frustrated because we heard all week, all season, or not all season, I should say. It was, I guess, the month of July was, that 10-game lead got erased in a week. And it's like, well, the 10-game lead got, it shrank, but it hasn't been erased, and it certainly hasn't been a week anymore. We're now talking like 8 weeks. So at this point, it's just things have evened out, but the Mets are holding on to first place because they are just the better team right now.
Yeah, and again, the biggest part of this, and we talked about it before the series, you get to these 3 games against the Marlins, hopefully the 3 against the Nats go the same way. Your rotation, they go out, they don't have to have these high leverage innings. You're not just burning your bullpen playing crazy games, long games, or tight games. And then you go into the Braves where everyone's happy, everyone's hot. Jeff McNeil is happy squirrel, which the silent treatment was incredible. And then everyone's chanting at him, happy squirrel. Everyone, the vibes are through the roof right now. Hopefully get a couple more guys in the trade deadline, get the little post-deadline glow going with everyone. By the way, the Mets are undefeated in the Daniel Vogelbach era because the first game he wasn't. I don't even know if he was even available the first game when they lost to the Padres, but they are 6-0 since Big Daddy came to town. So all the people who were hating on that trade because they look at batting average, which was a fucking relic 20 years ago, those guys could kiss my ass. 6-0. I look at winning percentage and I look at, I don't know, the fact the guy gets on base basically 50% of the time. He fucking you look at that lineup. Like, I don't know about you guys, but there's like when I look at lineups and I see Vogel back there, I just get this like warm feeling in my stomach, like everything's all right. That guy's gonna get a hit. He's gonna get on base. He's gonna just work the
Makes
count.
a difference.
Everything feels good.
I think it's 11.
What's that?
11 for 20 plate appearances. I think he's been on base.
Yeah,
that's insane.
I'm still waiting for that Vogel bomb. When that happens, we're gonna explode.
Maybe he's saving it for the Braves. You never know.
If he hits one against the Braves, or tonight or tomorrow night at our watch party at Blue Haven East for the return of Jacob deGrom, the place is gonna go nuts. I also want Vogelbach to know, if somebody can show him this, or we can just let it be known. Any of the comments about his size and or weight are said in a loving manner and in the respect for units and the rarity of units in baseball. You are filling Daniel Vogelbach right now is filling a role that is a time-honored constant in baseball. There's always, a Cologne or a Prince Fielder or a David Wells and you just keep going back, and there's always a big boy who is, everybody knows him and everybody loves him because watching a fatso just crush balls. Mo Vaughn was one. You can always remember those guys. And so I just want him to know that anything that might be construed as rude is the total opposite of that. Like I put the text on Twitter. My mom said, "Man, this fatty just keeps hitting." And I'm like, yeah, our fatty keeps hitting. And I just mean it with the most love and affection.
Yeah.
Also, I think he's athletic for his size, by the way. He's not just like some, lump at the plate. Like he can move for a big guy. He's our Vogel sexy back.
I was saying, my mom keeps telling me, "You gotta get him a bigger jersey. This one's too small."
Oh, it's perfect the way it is.
Yeah.
You think that's a 2X and he should be a 2X?
Maybe whatever that size is, you gotta go one more because
no, it's perfect. The buttons are like a little bit stressed, and it's he's got that barrel chest. I don't want him out there. And
what happens if he rips his pants on the field?
Yeah. Hey, listen, as the big boy on the podcast, I'm going to tell you, as a big guy, when you're in something that you shouldn't be in. He knows he's in that jersey, but maybe that's he went with like the 3X and his eye was a little off. He didn't have the power, whatever it is, it works. So I'm going to tell him, don't change a fucking thing about you. We love you exactly for who you are, Daniel.
He's as aerodynamic as a square can be. He's round in the base. Everything is nice and tight. Nothing's flapping in the wind. He's got it down to a science. Don't change a thing. And all kidding aside, of course you can't say that. It's not like he's hit like 5 home runs and driven in 12 guys, and that's literally the reason why we're winning. But that was one of those moves where, like I've been saying, like everybody gets knocked down a slot. Especially watching that game yesterday where it was just a hits parade. And it's like, if that was JD Davis at the plate, no shade because we got that 440-foot bomb maybe for a fairy tale ending. But if that was JD Davis and it was another strikeout and that hit parade doesn't continue, who knows? So sometimes it's just like an extra walk or an extra, base knock that keeps a rally going or offers protection or what have you. So it's there's no doubt that there has absolutely been a tangible difference, and that's all before the Vogel bomb comes. So if he starts hitting them, this lineup is going to be real scary.
And you said it, Kev. You said we got the watch party tomorrow night. It's gonna be post-trade deadline. Jake's first start. We'll be celebrating our new best friends in Flushing, along with the return of our favorite face in Flushing. So Blue Haven East tomorrow night.
At Blue Haven East, the same color of those mountains, right, Clem? Those Coors Light.
Coors Light, as blue as it gets. Whenever I see Daniel Vogelbach in the lineup, it puts my soul at ease. It makes everything fine, and that's because Coors Light is the official beer of everything unofficial. It's the beer that's made the chill. We're going to be watching the Mets World Series run with those beers in hand. You got your weddings, your graduations, your barbecues, whatever it may be, and then Mets baseball as your beautiful nightcap to make things go down smooth. So make the most of your summer with a chance to win exclusive chill merch, fun local experiences, or even a trip to New York, Chicago, or Los Angeles. Enter to win at CoorsLight.com/believe. Just give the link a little bit of love for the boys here. CoorsLight.com/believe. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends August 15, 2022. Game ends September 6, 2022. All 50 U.S. states. Washington, D.C. 21 or older only. Void where prohibited. For rules, visit CoorsLightSummer.com. And when we're at the parade, cake, punch, Coors Light, and we're going to be and you must celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Before we get into all the ins and outs of this series, we'll talk numbers, we'll talk trades, we'll talk beatdowns, we'll talk about how fucking good Francisco Lindor is, Jake's return, all of that. I have two things I need to talk about on a personal level. First of all, as I have done almost every episode this season, pointing out the reasons why this team is different. And it can be things on the field where it's like, oh, usually if we were down 3-0 in the first, that game is over. Forget about it. Or, we need Edwin Diaz to pitch, 4-out save or face the middle of the order. I don't know. We're on the edge of our seat. Or you give up an 8th inning home run to the Yankees. That game is over. All of these little things along the way. There's a little bit of a swoon. We bounce back. A bad inning. We bounce back. All that's very tangible. But I've also been picking up on the things that are different from a fan point of view. Like I remember back in the day checking the score when we were a good team, like in 2006 and 2007 before the collapse. I remember, hopping on ESPN to check the score if I wasn't watching, and I almost always expected the Mets to be up. It just got to the point where it was like every time I check, they're winning.
Yep.
And we kind of got to that level with this. This weekend, though, was a very important one. And I was talking to Clem about it. I was away this weekend, had to go to a wedding, and I had to do all of the things, the Friday night show, the early Saturday, the party, the Sunday, all of it. And I missed Mets baseball. And I know that sounds like, well, yeah, you're a fan and you should want to watch it. But there were times in the past where I would almost cherish, like, I can't watch. Sorry, can't torture myself for 3.5 hours every night this weekend. And there would be times where I'd be happy to get a little relief. And this was like, I miss it so much. I couldn't believe how much from LA with the Yankees series where I couldn't get in the mix with you guys. And then this weekend at a wedding, it's been like almost a full week since I've really gotten a regular routine of watching every inning and watching every at bat and doing pregame and postgame. And it's like a goddamn drug when the Mets are good. Like I need it. I crave it. I miss it. It's more like a relationship. Like I broke up for a week or she went away for a week. And now I'm like, I need my baby back, please. I miss them so much. And that is another sign that things are very different in the best of ways. You guys were, we did it all, like as far as pregame and postgame and reactions and all that. And to not be a part of it made me think about all these dumb motherfuckers who have been negative and been down. Like you're going to miss out on it too. So I got a little taste of that for a moment. And I want to make sure I watch like every single inning from here on out. Cause it's when you miss special baseball with this team, like you feel like you missed out on. It's like getting spoiled, like RIP to my dog, Tony Stark. Like just checking the score and not getting to actually see it is it's become a bad thing, for the Mets. So for me, so that was
right now.
Yeah. Oh,
it's like a sprint to the finish. Now we have 2 months of just like white knuckling the entire way through of like, are they going to be able to just go on this run wire to wire?
Especially knowing September is easy too. Yeah. So knowing, the gauntlet is definitely another gauntlet is here for August. But if they're going to play this hot, it's not as much of a concern.
Like, this is just a reminder, we still haven't played the Athletics or Pirates yet. Oh, there's Rico.
Rico!
What's up?
We got the Bosco man.
I was behind the curtain. That's like a perfect segue of like everything that the Mets entail. Like it's been an awesome run, but again, we have the Braves hanging on. Like we're still 3 games up. It's just a lot of mixed emotions. Like, can we hold on to it? It'd be nearly impossible to miss the playoffs, but it feels like that, like limping into the playoffs in a wild card sucks.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of pressure. Like it's still, there's still plenty of work to be done. Rico, by the way, has been, sometimes this happens at Barstool with various shows, this show, KFC Radio, whatever. I'm like always down to have almost anybody on the show. And I think sometimes people wait for the invitation, whereas I'm waiting for the request. And sometimes people just don't end up making it on the show. But I heard that Rico said, if fucking Clemmer makes it on the show before I do, I'm going to fucking go crazy. So we had to have Rico Bosco on.
I should have known texting an original 4 member that text was not going to be just hidden in his pocket. So
I mean, it is too funny. I almost thought, once I heard that, I almost thought about doing it on purpose. However, coming off the heels of the 2-game sweep against the Yankees and with another one coming up, nobody better to have on the program than Rico Bosco, because there's a couple guys in this world, Clem, that have the same level of disdain for the Mets. I think right now, like the Holy Trinity, I would have to put at me, Rico, and Nick Bono.
Yankees.
Yeah. What did I say? I'm sorry. Yeah, the Yankees.
Disdain for the Mets. That's
true.
Frank the Tank. Frank the Tank is disdain for the Mets.
Well, Freudian slip there because of our history. But, I mean,
I did. I only tweeted one. I tweeted once. I was like, the Mets are cooked. That was all. I only did the one. You can dip back and forth.
When
but
did you
Frank
say
is
that?
all. Yeah.
When did you say the Mets?
I think like week and a half ago, 2 weeks.
You motherfucker! I didn't
Get him out of here.
He is a week
It's
ago.
just one. Yeah, listen, I'm not ranting and raving like he is. Like, you're a realistic Met fan, but you're right. I hate the Yankees. The Jeter blog did fucking numbers. Kind of wrapping up the week. Kevin, you brought up a good point yesterday where you were like, yeah, you want to watch all the games. But 06 and 15, I'll never forget those summers. There were a ton of, and yesterday I stopped by my parents. We went there's nothing better than a go in the pool game.
Yeah.
3 runs in the first. There is nothing better than a go in the pool game. Like, hey, we're up 3, and then we go get another 2, and then you got another guy on base, and you're like, I'm good.
That was as much of a beatdown, even though it ended up being if you look at the box score runs wise, it was not a big deal. It wasn't like anything special, but man, that was an absolute butt fucking. I agree, man. So many of these games, win or lose, are like we said, the white knuckle. On the edge of my seat, hiding in the kitchen, taking years off my life. So it's nice to just have. I mean, that game was over in the first. And I was like, this is a wrap. And even when Ty gave up a few runs, it's like, nah, we're absolutely fine here. Those are a thing of beauty.
There was actually an interesting exchange.
Oh, wait, 1 minute breaking news. The Brewers just traded Josh Hader to the Padres.
Yeah,
So,
Padres
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Padres are loading up, dude. But why would hold on?
Because they're our fucking, bugaboo.
Hold on. Why would the Brewers make the trade, though?
Yeah,
Because Josh Hader only has a year left to control after this, and he's getting more expensive. They've been trying to trade him for years, but no one's paid the price. Maybe now the price came down. I guess we'll see. But Jeff Passan,
for ERA. I hope it came down a little.
What'd they give up?
I have no idea. Jeff Passan just said that the trade's happening.
I mean, I would have liked to get Josh Hader. I would have liked to be in on any big bullpen names as long as it doesn't cost your top prospects. I didn't really know that was even a thing that was heating up. And are the Brewers? Are they out of it all of a sudden? I didn't.
I mean, they're in first place. It's just a weird thing.
Yeah,
That's
having a
that's a weird ass move.
The Padres are trying to build it. They're gonna have to face off against the Dodgers in the wild card if they make it. So it's like they're trying to shore up their back end. That's the only way they're beating that team.
Bro, the Padres scare me though, because I'm assuming they didn't have to give up any of the pieces that
They gave up their closer Taylor Rogers, who got moved out of closer role, and prospects, according to Ken Rosenthal. So we need to see what the prospects are.
I would imagine none of those prospects that would be possibly for Soto.
No.
Yeah. So, but fuck, man. I mean, imagine if we had like a Hader 8th inning to a Diaz in the 9th.
The Mets did check in, but they yeah.
Well, I not yet felt out. I need a few more years before I can determine what the Epler era means.
Yeah.
The tires, checked in, we're in on all those phrases. I need to learn exactly what they mean. Shit though, the Padres, if they load up, they were already kicking our ass without any of this shit.
Yeah, the NL is tough. I still think the Cardinals are going to make a deal. The NL is tough.
Yeah, fuck. But you know what? You know why the NL's tough? Because a lot of people are including the fucking Mets in on that. So don't forget that. Don't fucking.
A casual reminder about the guy we're talking about, and Billy Epler, for the people watching on YouTube. That's him. Do I have to go back to fucking Epler mode right now just to remind everyone the guy who's GMing the team?
Engage. Epler mode. Engage. Make it. There it is.
This is the guy that brought you Starling Marte. He's the guy
best.
that got Max Scherzer. He's the guy that got little Mark Hanna that no one really talks about, and all he does is get on base and fucking review foods on Instagram. That guy. So everyone just settled the fuck down. I don't even include the Mets community anymore because there's a bunch of fucking clowns. They're putting clown emojis next to this guy's name. Put some fucking respect on Billy Epler's name. And if you put a clown emoji, you're a fucking clown.
I think Epler's should be in the running for executive of the year. Are you fucking kidding me? This guy is unbelievable. He's also the guy responsible for drafting maybe the most handsome player in baseball history. Have you seen? Can you put up Kevin Parada? No wonder that guy fucked every single girl south of the Mason-Dixon line. He's an absolute rocket on and off the field. This guy is an absolute. He's a piece of meat. That guy, that hair, those eyes, that like on and off the field, he is special. You got him, Pabs? You pulled him up? It was signing day yesterday for him, or a couple days ago, and he was putting ink on the paper and just looked like. We didn't really discuss that or did you guys do it without me? The Jack Mac video talking about how Kevin Parada has fucked like absolutely every sorority girl in the South. And
we touched on it. I didn't know what was allowed to be touched on and what wasn't, but I never know that with Jack Mac's videos. Allegedly. A lot of allegedly.
No, I don't even think there was anything bad. As far as I could tell, it was all just consensual. Like, I hooked up with a lot of girls. Yeah, like, no fucking kidding. I'm a star baseball player who's an absolute 10 out of 10. Sorry. I hooked up with all of you. Not my fault.
My brother went to Habitat for Humanity, or like the college thing where you build the houses, and they went to a minor league game in Oklahoma City, and somebody was like, the kid he was with or something was like, who's that kid? Like, good prospect. Oh, this is a good looking dude. He's got good hair.
As handsome as it gets, dude. A couple buttons. You should take one more down. Looks like he's got a nice tan. You know what he looks like? He looks like a guy would have a nickname like Slim Cooper or Fun Anthony.
Yes, he does. He does. He'll fit right in. He'll fit right in. So the kid was like, "Who's that guy? Like, he's great." And this girl like doesn't miss a beat in like Southern accent. Goes, "Oh, that's Kevin Clancy, biggest dick in town." It's like, wait, what? It's like he's just running through the double A towns, like whatever.
Dude, he's having himself a time.
Speaking of, I
don't even want to go pro. Can I just stay? Here forever, man?
So have you guys recapped the weekend, or is this the recap for the weekend?
So wait, recap. Let me do that real quick. This is actually good that you're on as well, because it is Yankees related. I am faced with a dilemma right now, gentlemen. I always have my kids on Saturdays. Every Saturdays is one of the days that they're with me, and I missed basically the first Saturday in a long time.
I think I heard about this.
And I see on Saturday that there was a little family outing without me to a place in the Bronx. And there was pinstripes and navy blue. And there was a whole little family affair without me on the one Saturday that I miss. They go see whoever, I don't even know, Yankees Royals. And, That's a dirty move. That's a dirty move, Rico.
I heard about this through the grapevine. I didn't think this was going to get brought up.
They're just kids. I believe one of the captions even said something to the effect of just Yankee fans just for the day. I'm trying to keep my cool here, but, there were discussions that were had many years ago that were, I gave up football. I said, I don't care who they root for with football. I would prefer the Jets, but also at the same time, the way they've been playing for the last however many years, I almost don't want to put that ick on them.
Don't pass it on.
But but I said, I gotta have baseball, and they gotta be Mets fans. And, what I love about myself is that I've never been to Yankee Stadium, and I never ever will go. And now I can't even, now Keegan and Shay, even too, if she gets into baseball, can never say that, and it's taking a lot out of me, Rico.
Yeah, I think you got to double. It's gonna cost you some money, but you got to go. Hey, like, how was the trip? You just go like this, like being a fun uncle, and hey, how was the trip? What did those certain people get you? And they're like, oh, well, we got like a little popcorn. Oh, okay. You guys want fucking pizza? Like, you're not gonna watch the game, but you just make them do what appeals to little kids. Shay will be like, oh, I like that teddy bear. Okay, I get you 3. Keegan, I like this. Hey, you want to go hit the home runs in the thing? You got to pull strings, get them on the thing with the kid dash, running the thing. Like, you got to go now.
I'm going to try to pull strings. I'm going to get him as the DH that day.
Yes.
I'm going to get him in the goddamn game.
Yeah, you have to. This was a tough move. I kind of respect the 4-a-day thing to acknowledge that they're not fully converting. I mean, it could have been like, this is, you go away for the weekend, they convert to a full religion. Imagine that. Like,
what's funny is I was out in LA right before this, and I went on Ryan Sickler's show. If you guys aren't familiar with it, Ryan Sickler is an LA comic. He's under the Tom Segura, Your Mom's House umbrella. He has a show called Honeydew, and it's a funny podcast, but you also kind of talk about some more serious matters. And both he and I are divorced dads, and we start talking about it. And I was like, I was just waxing poetic about how nice other people who have come into our lives have been after the divorce and everything. And then like 24 hours later, the whole gang's in fucking pinstripes. And I was like, take it all back. I want another episode. Let's talk about it. I fucking hate this shit. So what I've already done is I reached out to Chris DiStefano, and I'm like, when can I get in the Cohen box? Taking these kids straight to Uncle Stevie's suite. I'm putting them on the Jumbotron. We're doing it all. I'm going to make sure that the Mets are, hardwired in their brain. When they hear Mets, they think about the best goddamn day of their life. But, man, that was, out of all the things, and Lord knows there's been a lot of emotional stuff and hard stuff to get through. It's been a long 5 years. I saw that, and I was like it legit made me like, so I know Mr. Bosco, your dad is a fellow like lunatic Mets fan. If you guys were ever like in the Bronx or taken to a Yankee game, how would he react?
Well, back in the day, I'm dating but like to go see Griffey, like I loved Griffey, so you had to go to the Yankee game. But my brother,
I never went.
My brother liked Frank Thomas. Like you went to go see the other guys, but you ain't going there ever rooting for them.
Do rep the fucking Mariners.
They finally brought it back. The teal hat with the fucking peak is sick.
I like this too, though. Even just like that, that's a cool. I've always liked that.
Yeah, but no, listen, I've gone to games, like people will say it's as a gift. You don't want to turn them down. My father-in-law got me tickets a couple of years ago. I walked in late. It turned out to be one of A-Rod's like last home runs. It was like kind of right where I was sitting. You would have had to like scuffle for it. I don't know if I would have got it, but they took this like 14-year-old kid into the back. And I would have been like, yeah, I want a mill in a duffel bag right now. Right now. And they'd be like, what else? I'd be like, I also want A-Rod to say that Jeter was a scumbag for not moving to fucking third base. And they'd be like, all right, sir, do you have any realistic fucking demands? I'd be like, nah, I'm holding on to the ball. I'm going to blow it up on TV.
How many have you guys all been to the stadium, Yankee Stadium?
Sucks.
Clem, have you?
I've been to. I went. My buddy's a Yankee fan, so I go. I actually had tickets. I had a chance to get a ticket to the 2003 Game 7 of the ALCS. Thank God I didn't go to that one, or else I would have been covered in gabagool after that fucking home run.
A nightmare. I remember being at the bar at Howl at the Moon at Fordham at the time. Me, my brother, and one of his friends, Rob, a Mets fan. There was 3 Mets fans, probably, 80% Yankee fans. It was a good contingency of Red Sox fans because there was Boston people at Fordham. And as soon as that ball, the crack of the bat, I remember just filling up our beers and just quietly drinking. Brawls broke out between Red Sox and Yankee fans. We were just sitting there, just quietly drinking. God, if I was on site for that, would have been an absolute fucking disaster, man. But yeah, anyway, that's the cross I'm bearing right now.
Mama Clancy doesn't know, right? You didn't show it to Mama Clancy, right?
I'm not even kidding. If my mom sees these pictures, I'm not putting them on the internet. They're not getting back to my mom. I texted my sister, but I usually have a group chat with her and my mom, and I was like, I'm not even gonna. She'll go nuts. Like it won't be funny. When I was in college, I brought home my college girlfriend to meet them. Not in we're sitting down for dinner. It was just like, let's hop on the Metro North. I want to take you to this restaurant that's in my hometown. We'll pop by. You can meet my mom and dad, and whatever. And my mom had the Yankees game at the time, hate watching, and Matsui hit like a bases clearing double, and this poor girl, little tiny thing, she was in the living room, had just shake hands and met, smiles around. Matsui hits this double, and she just kind of goes like, "Ooh, yes," and I was like, and my mom legitimately kicked her out of the house. It wasn't like get the fuck out, but it was just like, okay, have a good night.
Yeah, have a good night. Yeah.
See you next time. Enjoy dinner. Bye. It's like, and we walked out, and I was kind of like, oh, and she, of course, being a normal human, was like, what's wrong? And I was like, you just ruined everything. There was no shock.
Going well. Yeah.
We might as well
it
right now.
It was going well.
All right, so I'm going to start a 5-minute timer here right now.
Okay.
And just hey, listen, I wouldn't even start a timer if I didn't think it deserved it, if I thought we could just go the whole time, but it is a little dated now. However, you missed your chance to dance on the sweep. It was a 2-game sweep. It's a sweep nonetheless. We have the Bosco man on, 2 of the best Yankee haters I know. So you boys, let it all out now. Empty the fucking empty the cannon.
I know. I'm expecting you're like, I'm gonna empty the clip. I actually it didn't mean they're already in my head being like, oh, it didn't mean enough. But it was fucking great. I will say this. The way they won it too, when you spot them too was that the second game? What was the one where they the first game? Yeah,
the 2-0 right away.
The 2 homers right away, and you're like, fuck, here we go. To come back like that with a vengeance. The team's different. I said it right from the get-go. I didn't want Buck because he's a dirty fucking Yankee who should have walked Jeter when first base was open. But I'm coming around on him, and he's got a lot of fight.
Coming around. You better be all the way around the Buck by now, Rico.
By the way, he's talking about walking Jeter years ago. I mean,
Yes.
obviously, his last game. He's not talking about just
Yeah.
night. It's crazy. He's a crazy person.
He took a step back when he was a little dickish to the reporter the other day when they had McNeil on the bench, and he's like, "Yeah." They're like Thomas Nito with a hand injury, and he was being Francesa. He's like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, Buck, don't get ahead of yourselves, man. You haven't won shit in your lifetime. Calm down. So
there was that and Peterson out of the pen were the 2 points in this season that I can point out and be like, Buck Showalter fucked up in an inexcusable way, and he kind of tried to dance around it. He should have just been like, I fucked up.
Yeah. No, but he doesn't. He hasn't fucked up majorly. That's the thing. The other thing too, Clem, is for everything you're reading about, Yankees are 700 games over 500. The Yankees are untouched. The Mets have a record. I know it's different comparison.
We're 3 games back.
Yeah, we're 3 games back. It's fucking insane. And this big bad AL East, I know they have great records, but I don't know. I mean, the Braves are still right there with us.
Oh,
the Phillies aren't bad. The Phillies aren't a bad team, and we're not kicking the shit out of them.
It was just more of it was a gutsy I'll never forget a game in pretty sure it was 06, and it was the same type of thing. You're looking forward to the Mets. You talked about it too. You miss them. My dad says it all the time. When they have a day game, he goes, yeah, it was a great win, but now I got nothing to do tonight.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing.
I usually, though, I love having the W in my pocket, and then I can binge watch a season of something or watch a couple movies. When I have a day game loss, it just eats the fucking brain. That's where,
especially when you're at work, when you're at work, when you used to work the corporate jobs and they're on and you're fucking illegally watching, it's all whatever. But Benitez, I think it was in like 06, and Reyes had him on third and like and drew a balk. We were playing the Orioles. And like you were just like, it was 06, and you were like, man, this is different. And you saw that a lot in 15. You were like, man, this is just fucking insane. I'm getting a lot of those vibes this year where it's just like you're supposed to win, you know? Yes. And I'm enjoying the run, however it's going to turn out. And we probably should have won in 06 because who was it in that World Series, though? Sox? No, the Tigers. Tigers didn't even get off the bus when the Cardinals beat them. So we should have won that one. 15, we had the lead in every game against the fucking death by contact Royals. And you know, and again, I'm not saying we're supposed to win this year, but we're supposed to be a contender. So like, you just enjoy the ride, but it does feel different that like, again, you're playing the big bad Yankees and you go out and win.
Handle the business.
Exactly. Business. They're just doing the right thing. You know, I know the Braves are right there, but again, we haven't had DeGrom. Like Scherzer's missed time. You know. It's just a different team. It's a team to get excited about, and for being bad for so long.
That's our built in a way that it's not gonna scare people. You know, like Aaron Judge, tip your fucking cap. He's playing out of control. He's putting up steroid era numbers. It's crazy. I was tweeting about this yesterday. Mark Canha is not a guy that people are like, oh wow, like look out for that. You know, and even to an extent earlier this season, I think now they are. You know, people aren't like circling Starling Marte in the lineup being like, fuck, watch out for that. Now they are, but they weren't, you know. Luis is a guy at the bottom of the order. He's going to do some damage, and they're just built right. And so I just don't think that they get and they have the Mets, you know, reputation. But, you know, you look around, like you look at how they play, what they do to bad teams and how they're going to grind your starting pitcher into 100 pitches in 5 innings, like every fucking game. And that matters so much. That's not a stat. That's not you can't cite that, but it's wildly important to get to these shitty ass bullpens with long drawn out at bats and the hits parade and the manufacturing. I mean, Patrick Mazeika laying down that bunt on the shift. Like everybody does everything right. They run out hard balls, infield singles, and they press the right way, and it's not going to ever really get the respect it deserves until, God willing, they win in the playoffs. But after watching it for over 101 games now, I just think that they are built the right fucking way.
It's different.
And you know, okay, if next series the Yankees hit, you know, 6 home runs in a game, yeah, you're probably going to lose. And if that offense gets scorching hot in the middle of October, you know, bad things can happen. But I just think the Mets are built to sustain it. And I know that we had that swoon where we didn't hit with runners in scoring position, but I just think that's more likely to stick around through the postseason against good pitching than that fly ball strikeout type team. It's certainly more fun to watch. Those rallies, dude, where everybody's hitting. We had 16 hits in like the fourth.
Yeah, you're never out of it. I mean, the other thing, and they're never out of it. They really are. They're never out of it.
Don't believe it. The people who still can't, you know, who still be like, oh, this game's over. I don't care if it's 7 runs, 2 runs, day game, night game, top of the ninth, bottom of the ninth, whatever. You can't turn the team off anymore. You can't turn the game off.
4 or 5 summers ago, or 3 or 4 summers ago, like you would look at the lineup, and they were, including the pitcher, there were 4 to 5 guys batting under 200 in certain. I know when it got really bad. Like this is at least the team you can root for. They all seem to like each other. I think KFC got the text. He never responds anyway. But I actually respect it. But did you get the text if I said when are we retiring Starling Marte's number? I fucking love this guy.
But I'm with you on that. He is unbelievable.
Love this guy. And coming from, I had the A's to win the World Series in that COVID year. And I mean, you talk about a team who underappreciated. Like now you're starting to see it. So Canha, Montez, they had a ton of guys on that team that were really, really good. I don't think Marte wasn't on that team in 2020, right? They had bigger bats.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't, but it's the A's core. Yeah. And they had the lead again against the Astros in that ALDS, like multiple times in each of those. They lost in 5 games, but they had all those leads. So like
exactly like the Royals series. Marte was on the Marlins before this?
Okay, so Marte is interesting with the Marlins because they offered him, I think, $455. He turned it down. They trade him for Jesus Luzardo, who stinks. He's on the injured list. And then they pay Avisail Garcia for 4 years, 50-something million, and he stinks. Well, we have Marte for 4 years, whatever.
Marte was on the A's, though, right?
He was on the A's in 2020. No, he was on the A's last year. That's what I mean.
Got it.
Yeah, that was Luzardo.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know. It's just different. You know, like
he has
like
been an absolute blessing.
Yeah, like you like these guys. And again, like we're in the mix for the right guys. Like, you know, in 15, they go out and get Cespedes. I know that was when, you know, they treated Nichols like fucking manhole covers and we weren't spending. But like that year, it's like, hey, we got a good team. You got to go make a run. Even last year, like they go and get buy it. Like we're buyers now. You know what I mean? Like we're going to make a move again. I like all these guys. They're underappreciated. They do the right things. It's just fun to watch.
We're 17th on the list of home runs right now.
Yeah, you're not relying on home runs.
You'll get a big bat, but like the fact that we're able to put together all of these runs without hitting home runs, it becomes an issue when you're in the playoffs because you're gonna go up against a team that can hit home runs, and you don't want to end up 3. Next thing you know, it's tied. No. Like you need to have Vogelbach on base, someone behind him that can hit a home run.
That cuts both ways, though. Like, of course, you know the home run is king, and if you hit a lot of them, you'll probably have a lot of success. But in the postseason, when you're pitching, when you're facing elite pitching, who's not going to be giving up bombs, but you can squeak out an infield single and a steal and a bloop and a this and a that, I would rather be built like that. And, you know, the Mets having to face Sandy Alcantara every fucking series, and I think beating him 2 out of the 3 times, or
2 out of 4. We faced him 4 times in a goddamn month.
I mean, that's crazy, but like, it got to the point, the first one, I was like, we might get no hit tonight. The second one, I was like, I can't believe this is happening again. We're definitely going to lose. By the 3rd and 4th outing, I was like, the Mets can face these guys. The Mets can face good pitching unless you're on the Padres. Then you just shit down our throats. Yeah, right. But like everyone else, you know, that this lineup can just grind anybody.
You know what our record is against, you talk about too, like winning. You know what our record is against the NL East?
Like 31-12.
31-12, dude.
I mean, Don's
sick.
We can make it 34 after the Nats.
Yep.
And I know that people, the AL East is absolutely unbelievable with everybody being above 500. The NL East has 3 playoff teams currently, including the World Series champs. Like, we're not playing in some scrub division. I will give it to you. The AL East is better. There's no denying what Judge is doing. There's no denying the competition they play. But like, I don't know. Mets are 3 games back from the Yankees, who were supposed to go win 135 games this year. So, you know, a couple injuries. All of a sudden, Clay Holmes, you know, turns out he's not Mariano Rivera. Who saw that coming? The no name who nobody expected to be good was all of a sudden,
right,
you know, in the world. That had regression written all over it. It's just baseball's too long. Everything kind of evens out. And when it comes down to the playoffs, I think that contact, we've seen it firsthand. And now we get to root for it. I'll take it every time, man. Unless you're talking about, you know, a truly unbelievable lineup. But that never was the Yankees in the first place. They were all playing that way, but Joey Gallo and IKF and these guys that are like, what the fuck? How is this team as good as they are? Man, those quotes from Joey Gallo were tough. You guys see those?
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be crushing. It's like you dream your whole life to play for the Yankees. You finally get there. And now you're like one of the worst Yankees, like, ever to play. I'm exaggerating, but like, he feels that way.
But not, yeah. I mean, they made him feel that way, and they have every right to. But that's the other side of it, man. Where,
dude, did you see the TikTok I did? It blew up.
No,
he had 37 hits, and Judge had 38 homers.
It's 42 homers now.
Now it's even worse. It's even worse. But it's I did the thing. Yeah.
But when you see a guy be like, I'm gonna have to live with the fact for the rest of my life that I, you know, bombed as a Yankee. If you don't have some feeling of like, man, maybe I shouldn't have tweeted that or booed him that way or whatever. I mean, I apologize every fucking day at this point to Edwin Diaz. I'm like, I want to send his family a fruit basket and be like, please accept my apology. Everybody always digs up my tweets. Get the fuck off my team. This guy stinks. I'm like, what can I tell you? I am fucking sorry. Because at this point, Meek, you could tell me the numbers.
Dude, it was the balls. It was clearly the balls.
Rob Manfred made a baseball that made him not throw his best fucking pitch. He got 15 home runs. I think he's given up like 6 since.
Yeah, I mean, he's having like a Mariano Rivera-esque type year in my mind. And I can't. It's Clem, we've said it a million times before, like our curse as a fan base is to deal with shitty bullpens. And now that we finally have not like just a good one. We have like the best in the league, not the bullpen, but closer. it's one of the best gifts that a Mets fan can ever get. Like, it is short of, a Juan Soto, being like, what on your wish list, what's like the one thing you want in baseball? Like, obviously a generational bat like that, but very close to the top of the list is a closer that you don't have to worry about. And like, the fact that we've got one of those is like, I never thought it could be me. I never thought. That's what gives me hope that we might one day win a World Series.
You know what it is?
Get a closer.
I'll let Clem take it, but to me, it's like you're looking for the comparison. It's like having a clutch kicker.
Yes.
In the NFL, you roll out and it's not like, oh, here comes this fucking guy again. If you got a guy who's nails and just does what he's supposed to do, the same thing too, like in a 1-score game, if he goes 3 for 3 for field goals and it gets tight late, those field goals help you out, that's what having a great closer is like having a kicker. You need it. You just got to get the job done. Go ahead, Clem. Sorry.
No, you said it perfectly. I was going to say the closer to the Mets is the kicker for the Minnesota Vikings. And it's like, this is going to come down in that big fucking spot, and fucking Kyle smirking as a Packers fan, you sick son of a bitch. Those Vikings fans are good people. They're good people, Kyle, just like we are. And we deserve this. Like, we deserve this team. We deserve this owner. We deserve to have a closer.
Well, some of us deserve all this. Some of us don't.
Most of us. Yeah, most of us. That we had Kevin on for the pregame, one of these episodes that just were on YouTube, and I was like, we're going back into the fan bashing, which, hey, keep it coming, because there's still people that don't believe it. I 27 games above 500 now. I mean, at some point, what's the point of even like winning games?
Yeah. No, I'm gonna stop. I will stop now, because it's undeniable. You lose. I was right. We were right. You're wrong. They're gonna make the playoffs. They're gonna be awesome, and you can fucking use this clip if we collapse. Fine. Fuck you. We're not gonna. And so if you're still complaining, you're wrong. You lose. Good day, sir.
Fangraphs has us at 99.9% to make the playoffs, and like, this team's already better than the 2006 team that we all think was like the best of this century. This team's probably better than that. They're on pace to be better than that.
Now we have two aces. Carlos Carrasco pitched to a 0.9 ERA this month, which is fucking insane. A guy who's our fifth starter and a fringe guy at that, because he's coming off injury, and we were like, we don't know what we're going to get out of him. And Bassett ends up being our worst starter in the rotation. Like, if you would have told me that when the season started, I would have told you to go fuck off.
We thought the season was over April 1st when DeGrom got injured. And we were like, just stay above 500, just hover around 500 until DeGrom gets back. It's August 1st. He's coming back tomorrow, and they're 27 up.
The 3 games, like the 3 hours after Max Scherzer was bit by a dog, I was planning a funeral. All right, I was ready to bury the team for an afternoon when I heard about a dog bite. If you would have told me when we learned that Jake was down, and I know, by the way, people have acted like we've had a million setbacks and stuff. We haven't. We've had a million like tweets saying that he's had some discomfort and that he's had this and that. But none of it has knocked him off schedule. Maybe like 1 week later, because I think they were a little bit conservative. But for the most part, everybody said after the All-Star break, probably right around the trade deadline, meaning that they'll like wait till after. And that's exactly what it turned out to be. So he's right on track with some, some headlines that get, pumped up and warped to get clicks somewhere in the middle. But Jake is here. And if you would have told me on that day that he went down, that he'll be back in August, that we'd be almost 30 games over 500 and in first place since that same day, I would have called you the stupidest. I would have been doing come and jump off a bridge bets right then and there again.
That's all. Yeah, that's all well and good. And I know there's no negativity, but can I play the middle that we are still only up 3 games in the division with the Braves? There's always that fucking thing of like, it's like Denzel in Flight. Like, there's always the fucking little nip hanging in the fucking fridge. There's always that little lingering, like, hey, we're gonna fucking relapse. Like,
if I can be honest, if we're in the trust tree, I still don't even know. I think the Braves might win the division. I don't even care at that point. I think that the Mets have every chance to win it. I don't. The reason why I just still have negative thoughts is part of me just does not think it's possible to go wire to wire, because it's just like no fucking way that would happen to us, right? So
I think that hurts the I think it hurts the confidence type thing though more, or like I don't know, like if you go this far. And then let's say we blow it in like even September 15th is the first time we relinquish the lead, and you go in as a wild card. I think that kind of like hurts you because the paper's
Absolutely.
like, yeah, you made the playoffs. You know, it's like fucking
you're
with you.
like you said, you're
yeah,
back.
it's not limping in, winning. You know, we're gonna win 100 games, but it's tough. I don't know. It's very.
It just sucks
tough.
that we're in the division we're in because if you tossed us in maybe
the West, you want to play with the Dodgers?
No, it's just
No,
the Central.
Who's in the NL Central? We're the first place team sellers.
Yeah,
put
it's
us
just
in
the
the Central
crying
where
right now.
we'd be
I
up
don't
by
want you
fucking
crying.
15 games. You know what I mean?
I'm fucking Chuck's texting about the White Sox being 2 games out of first place. They're a game over 500.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, it would have been. Could you imagine that if all this time? But that is a curse. I think sometimes getting, we haven't played a meaningful game since April when we were still starting out. I don't like to even get worried about all that kind of shit.
I don't know. I disagree. I think every game is still meaningful in the sense
you're like 15 games up. No, they're not.
They're all trying to prove. This is a team still trying to prove themselves. I think in the standings, yes, it's a meaningless game, but mindset wise, they're all going into every one like a dogfight. I do see that.
I get that.
And they know, hey, we got the Dodgers. We're not rolling over. We got the Cardinals. Like when they came that big comeback, the Yankees. Like they're measuring themselves against these teams. Whether if the other team doesn't get as geared up as we do, like that's your problem. I do think the Mets are.
We know about that. We know all about how the Yankees weren't trying.
Yeah, exactly.
During our 2-game sweep of them, we had clowns on WFAN talking about, our fourth and fifth starter were going, and were we really trying?
Once you line up, that's how it goes.
Well,
they're doing this. Yeah.
And then the Royals game is when they try. They try against the Royals, but not the first place Mets.
Right, the Royals were 8 in
It's
the
very
8.
disrespectful not to try versus us, in my opinion. So
Well, the Clancys were in town. They had to give them a good showing on the Saturday game for the Royals. Clem.
That is the number one, and that's where I got in this Twitter spat with this dude over at WFAN. Anytime you play the I don't care card, you're a Barstool. You lose an event, I don't care. You get dumped by your girlfriend. Well, I never really liked her in the first place. You lose the game. Well, we weren't trying. You get fired from your job or you don't get the position after you interview. Well, I didn't really care in the first place. No, you didn't. You cared. You tried. You lost. It's the biggest cop-out and the biggest loser mentality to play that. And I think actually the biggest loser thing is to challenge people to fight you at your place of work in the middle of the night in your overnight shift. But that kind of talk, I know that dude doesn't represent the Yankees. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can check my Twitter feed Saturday morning. I love Twitter. I woke up, it was like 10 a.m. and I was like, all right, time for a Twitter battle. It's a sick app. It really, really is. It's bad for everyone's health.
It's my fault, Kevin. You didn't have a way to get out all your Yankee, shit talking last week. So you had to just let it out on Twitter. If you had the podcast to let it all out, it would have been much healthier. That's why you and Bosco were here to let it out so we don't have any other spats go online.
Well, when somebody quote tweets you, that doesn't show up in my mentions. I don't see quote tweets if they don't at you. Like I don't.
It's in your notifications, not your mentions. We're going really deep Twitter shit here, but it appears in one, not the other. I know yours. And then when you get quote tweeted, it kind of is like you feel like you're being put on blast. So then everyone comes back 10x.
So I didn't see it till Saturday morning because some dude just added me and said KFC like in a body bag or whatever. And I was like, what is this about? And I see that he quote tweeted me like the day before. I would have never seen that, and I would have nothing would have happened. Right. But I was like, well, fuck. Now I got to do this. It's like I want to just go to the pool with my kids, and instead I got to do this shit. And I know that guy doesn't represent the fan base the way that Frank doesn't represent Mets fans. But fuck that noise and anybody who subscribes to that. We weren't trying. We don't care. You care. You lost. Yankee fans say the same thing. We don't care about the Mets. Well, how come you're on, you're having a 55 back and forth Twitter battle, 55 tweets in a row talking about how little you care? I think you fucking care. You guys tried. Yes, it lined up with the back of your rotation. That happens sometimes. But you tried. You lost. And by the way, the starters weren't really the issue. Like, I mean, that game was what, 2-2 going into the ninth, whatever.
Him saying, you think we were really trying to win when we pinch hit with Joey Gallo was the most ridiculous reason that you could possibly come up with. You're putting in a guy who's trying to drive in the runs to tie the game, and you're not trying to win the game. That makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
Not trying is a bullshit excuse. If you would have told me that Aaron Boone was betting on that game, that would be more of a fucking reason. That would be more believable than thinking that Joey Gallo was going to deliver there. By the way, we found out that the guy from the unbelievable, one of my favorite videos in a long time, the dude in the white beater and basketball shorts and flip-flops on the phone making fun of Joey Gallo, we found out he's a very important gentleman in the New York area when it comes to maybe the Italian heritage. So
sanitation and whatnot.
Yeah, he might move rocks. He might be in that. So I want to just say everything I said was out of just love and respect, and we were having a little fun, and that's all. So thank you, sir. Thank you.
What a coincidence, Kevin, that you would say that after finding that.
What a coincidence.
I also got to shout out our guy Mario here. He said this to us. He's a Red Sox fan. Look at this fucking Yankee fan right now.
Holy.
He's a diehard.
Unbelievable.
A diehard idiot.
Who've asked him if he thinks Judge is leaving the team.
Dude, they can't hear the stand.
So.
Get the sound out.
Hold
on. If you look, yeah, of course
Wait
you need the
for
two
it.
naked ladies. You need the two
Wait
naked
for it.
ladies next to him. But
Next, captain.
Yeah.
Go Yankees.
Sorry, of course you got the two naked ladies. But the way the tattoo is, he just has murderers.
Yeah.
I know it says murderers row.
No,
He just has murderers. Look at that. He's look at my tattz. Like anytime he's going like this, it says murderers. Okay, buddy. Like,
bro, that guy might take the cake right now. Why with the girls though? It's so stupid.
That looks like a young Mariano. Is that Mariano's nephew? Did he do that as a tribute?
Oh, Jesus, Rico.
I'm just asking. Listen, we've been doing this for 55 minutes.
That's why if you look, it has Mariano's number right next to murderers.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
That's what it is. It's not murderers row. It says murderer Rivera.
I've been on this for 56 minutes. We have buried the fucking lead. When are we going to talk about my guy Vogelbach?
Oh, we did. He's the man.
All right. Sorry. Can the text chain for my father hates fat kids. Never drafted fat
What a line. What's just a line right there?
Clip that. My father
Literally.
hates fat kids.
His thing is fat kids can't play baseball. He would not take fat kids. Hated them.
What's the kid of the Little League World Series?
No. That was a Little League regional. I don't want to go.
What was that guy's name though? You know,
Big Al.
Big Al.
He lost to Mid. They said he played in the Little League World Series. He did not. He played in the qualifying. He got to the regional. He lost to Staten Island, and he didn't get any hits. Fat fuck. So my dad hates fat kids. Never would draft fat kids. So I said, I love this fat bastard. He goes, I hate this fat bastard. And then my brother chimes in and goes, do you think when he hits one in the gap, he goes, oh, shit, I got to run again? Run again for the double?
Here's the thing. I do believe.
Dude, him losing the chain like he was playing Sunday softball in the Tomasino League is fucking unbelievable.
He is a specimen. I think if you were to adjust it like pound for pound, mile per hour, I think he's pretty athletic. I think he's got some wheels for the size. I was listening to Howie on the radio yesterday, and he just casually was like, Vogelbach at second. He's not a fast man, of course, and then just kept it moving. And it wasn't a joke. It wasn't a gotcha.
No, they're making some digs. They had Randazzo. Randazzo's like, they got a big boy on deck. My dad, I went in, we were getting food yesterday early, so like right around the 1:10 start, and they get going in the first inning. So like, of course, you missed the 3 runs. We rewound it and watched it. We walked in the house, but my dad goes, yeah, somehow fucking Vogelbach made his fat ass around the bases without having a heart attack. Like little digs like that. This guy's getting it from everywhere.
But no, I said
like, he's got plate discipline, respect. But he doesn't have plate discipline.
Yeah, exactly.
This is like some Ginny Sack stuff we're dealing with right now.
It was actually a great line yesterday while we were watching too. Who did they have?
Plate discipline's very funny, by the way.
Who did the Marlins bring in late as a pitcher? Or they put up at the plate? Either way, it was like somebody who fucking sucked. And my dad just goes, if you're in the dugout, why wouldn't you just go down? You're up 9-3 in the 8th, and they bring in this guy. He goes, just go down to the shower. Like, you save yourself a half hour. And me and my brother both at the same time go, Dad, do you mean the Mets or the Marlins? Because we were like, we thought it was so, like, the Marlins could have checked out too. Oh, yeah, okay, I'm going to take a shower regardless. Like, I honestly thought both of them were looking to get the fuck out of there because it was very clear one team was not trying to win that game.
No, that game was as fucking over as it could be from the very first pitch. But Vogelbach also Stu Feiner with the tweet of the game saying, yeah, absolutely. And I think Nito would say that himself too. Like Vogelbach is, it's one of those guys, like when you hear that Vince Wilfork is actually like the most athletic guy on the Patriots. Like, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying he's got closet wheels. I saw Stu Feiner say, though, if I owned a buffet style restaurant and Daniel Vogelbach walks in, I'm sweating or something like that. Or like, I'm not happy. Just something so blunt thinking about this guy when he's actually still, at the end of the day, probably one of the top like 0.1% athletes to walk the planet Earth.
Yeah. What's the line? It's one thing to carry a piano on your back. It's another thing to stop and play it.
We say love, Danny. We mean.
Dude, I love this guy. Listen, you're talking to a guy who I had Trig has it in the files. I have a plumber shirt. We have a plumber shirt on deck if we need it. So Vogelbach is fucking content material. Like, let's get the shirts going. I also think somebody suggested this. I worked at a college one time, and they had a kid who, like, he was a freshman. He came in and he scored like 20 points in the debut, and everybody thought he was great. He turned out to be a pussy. He transferred, is what it is. But he wanted to do, his number was 55. He wanted to do state highway signs like 55. But his thing was everyone, no matter, you could be 5'2" and like a little girl. If you're in the student section, you had to wear it in 3X. I think we should do that with Vogelbach. No matter, we don't welcome. Add the $3 for the extra sign. All 5X. All 5X.
We might not sell a lot, but the people who do have them at the ballpark, just like swimming in a fucking blanket, would be very, very funny.
Or get the muscles, like the fat suit in between.
What if we have Vogelbach, like a cartoon of him? Maybe we can look and find out his favorite food. Maybe just a plate of spaghetti, and it says plate discipline with him just chowing down. I like
the plate discipline, double entendre.
Great. That is really fucking funny. And if we have, he is, on a real level though. We talked. I think I mentioned it last episode or during one of our post games.
Fucking chain fell off, and he's running like this. It was
when we got Cespedes, it was the big talk of the town. But it was Kelly Johnson and Juan Uribe were also a huge part of that. And Vogelbach is, we'll see what happens. Place your bets. You think it's going to be JD? You think it's going to be Contreras? But Danny V is, I think, going to be an important part of it.
They got another guy. Who was the other guy they got? Was it Uribe?
Yeah. Uribe and
Kelly Johnson.
Yeah. I thought they made another move. Was Uribe the one from the Indians?
No, they got them both from the Braves. It was Johnson and Uribe from the Braves.
They made a third move, and I forget the guy's name every time because there's a funny story that goes with it.
Well, Rajay Davis was late. It was
Rajay Davis. Thank you.
Uber. He took the Uber.
Yeah, the Uber. Yeah.
Bro, and there's no chance the Wilpons repaid him. He took that right out of pocket.
I think it was like 18 or like whatever it was. And I called Francesa and was like, Mike, listen, like, do you think Uribe is going to get meaningful playoff like at bats? Because I love what he's doing. And he's like, make the playoffs first. Like, dismiss me like completely. Uribe was my guy. I still say it all the time. I don't know how Yasel Puig doesn't have a fucking position.
Yeah.
Like, those are the guys I'm obsessed with. Those little guys, like you talk about, Kelly Johnson, like, those are the ones you get around the deadline now as throw-ins. And you're like, man, I fucking love that guy.
That's what Edwin is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quinn, so that's a guy, like, I've been so out of it, like I said, traveling and shit. I haven't even really got a chance to watch him yet. And it's wild that he's just, like, part of the team now. So we're at an hour here. So we got to get into some trade deadline talk before it's all wrapped up. So wait, what's today? Today's the 1st, so tonight at midnight or
tomorrow
at 6 p.m. So right before we head to Blue Haven East, the trade deadline is going to go down.
So that's great. By 7 p.m., we'll have Jake on the mound, and we'll have JD Martinez on his way to New York.
Yep, double celebration.
And Where is that? Is that Queens? Where's the party?
No. It's on
34th and 3rd, right?
Oh, really?
Right on the east side. You get. They're gonna have some giveaways. They're gonna have Kyle. What do they call that? The Coors Power.
Coors Light double tap.
Coors Light double tap.
The double tap's awesome. I was a little skeptical last time, so they play
Thunderstruck.
I don't know if the song changes, but they played Thunderstruck, and the whole time that song is on, Coors Light is free. So they just open the taps like Bordy Barn style, and they just start filling up the cups. And as long as that song is on, the beer is free. Everybody gets in a line and just they go to the back of the line, back of the line, back of the line. It's a very cool way to kick things off. You have all your beers in front of you. We'll have Jacob deGrom on the mound. Whoever our new acquisition is, we'll be starting off another sweep. Or no, we'll be in the middle of another sweep. And last time against the Braves, even though it ended up being an L, was a lot of fucking fun. Usually when I go to a bar for a game, even when they were my events, I was always like, I'll be honest, if I was a diehard fan and I wanted to like hear the broadcast really well and zero in on the game, being at the bar is not the buy. The guys last time were all like very real fans who were like dialed in on pitch count and talking about like the ins and outs of the game. We have the broadcast on very clearly. So even if you're like, you're very focused on the actual game, Blue Haven is a great spot for both of it, whether you want to drink and party or seriously watch it. So that's 34th and 3rd tomorrow or Tuesday, 7 p.m. right at first pitch. So the return of Jacob deGrom. We heard something about how he's been talking about reverting back to his old mechanics from 2018, which was more velocity but more durability. I personally kind of think that he's going to opt out, and we don't know about the future. So I wish he would just throw 150 for the next 2-3 months and win us a World Series, and then whatever happens. But I don't know. That seems to be the plan here.
The best case scenario for deGrom. He has like 15 or so starts, however much it is. We win the World Series. He walks out to the sunset. Whatever happens, happens. That's it.
You said in the group chat that you think it's pretty legit that he does not like the team, that like you don't.
It all dates back to last year, I think, when Sandy Alderson accidentally said he had like a torn UCL. Then deGrom had to like downplay that notion. It's like, no, my UCL is fine. And I think ever since then, it's just been a back and forth between like just not good relationship.
Out on Long Island like a few months ago, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Like his kids are about to be in school. He was house shopping for like mansions out on Long Island.
Hasn't he said? Am I crazy? I feel like I've heard him say. We know he's going to opt out, but that doesn't necessarily mean you want to leave. That just means you want to get paid. I feel like I've heard him say, I want to be a Met for life, or it would be really cool.
Everyone always says that, though, so it's nothing like
Would you definitely sign him?
That's the thing. You don't know. Like, if he stays healthy, it's an interesting question.
Yeah, I don't know. I see both sides. Like, obviously, he's a Met, and he stuck with us, and the world's – he's the only one left of the rotation.
If he plays well, if he's the old Jake and has, like, a Cy Young-esque second half, and we make it into the playoffs and, like, let's say even just, like, play in the NLCS when we get bounced or whatever, I don't see how you can let him go. Not with Max. Not with Max. I think Max and Jake can like go. They have to be like together. So I if Jake wants to sign like another 2-year deal for like do a Dame Lillard,
I don't think he wants that.
over 2, we could do that. I don't know how he's planning on doing it, but I don't think the Mets can. If he plays well and the Mets play well, you can't let him walk.
That's the interesting thought. I think he'd want a bit longer of a deal, but. Put it simple, if he stays healthy and pitches like old deGrom, he'll be getting more money than Scherzer's making this year, which is like $43 million. And money talks in the end. He could go wherever he wants. If the Mets have the highest bid, he'll probably stay here.
I'll stay put. And I just don't see how, unless, again, it's all contingent upon like no more injury talk, and he's who we thought he was. I don't see how the Mets let that dude walk. Not in the middle of several guys' primes. Your window's still open. If we win, I don't know. Who knows? Anything's possible. My question is, all that Buster only talk about Atlanta. Does he have like family there, or was that just totally out of his ass? Is there a reason?
He grew up in Florida as a Braves fan, so I'm sure he has family down south. But
he's like best friends with
Florida's different, like
guys.
I mean, all right, I guess so.
Listen, you have to play the market a little bit, and like. I'm sure his PR team or his agent like leaked that a little bit. Hey, you think that, like don't give it all up right away on the first date. Like let the Mets fucking beg a little bit too. So leak that. Hey, I might go to the Braves. That's going to sting us. It wouldn't sting us that bad if he goes to fucking, the Brewers or fucking like I know the Mariners are doing well now, but it's, he goes to the Diamondbacks who are a laughingstock and gets a ton of money. Like the Braves will sting us. We'll see him 4 times in a month like we do. Alcantara, and that's going to hurt us.
That's why I don't think they'll let it happen.
But listen, he's allowed to play a little bit dirty like that, going to get his money.
That's fucking business, man. I'm okay.
By the way, he's gotten us a discount on two straight contracts where we fucked him.
Right.
Like,
that's
where he's knocked out. He'd be stupid not to. He's the best pitcher on the planet. You're looking at Scherzer, who just turned 38, and Verlander, who's like 42 or whatever he is. They both know how to pitch. It's not necessarily their stuff. They can still figure out how to get people out. That's exactly what DeGrom is. He's basically going to follow like the Verlander blueprint of like he had a couple down years for Detroit. He leaves. He gets healthy. He goes to Houston, and there's a huge resurgence. If that happens with DeGrom and he goes to a different team and that happens, and we're sitting there looking at it where we lost three generational pitchers, I would never forgive them.
No, you can't do that, especially watching Verlander bounce back from Tommy John and be better than ever. Like, damaged good. Jake has had more long. He still bounces back. There's just no reason to play with fire here because it's not, and the Yankees are going to face it with Judge, man. I mean, has anybody ever fucked a team harder going into a negotiation than Aaron Judge? Like this has got to be the best walk year. It has to be literally the best of all time because it's right up there with Bonds, McGuire, and fucking, Ruth and those guys. It's one of the greatest seasons we're ever seeing. Every home run just has to be another 5 million, 10 million. It's great to watch. I hate it as a Yankee hater, but knowing that it fucks them a little bit every time is pretty enjoyable. So
do you want Judge?
You gotta pay. You gotta pay you guys.
Would you take Judge? Do you want Judge? It's gonna sound dumb. I don't want him. He's a Yankee.
Yeah.
He's a Yankee.
No, that's dumb.
Yeah,
that's dumb.
I know it's
that's
dumb.
dumb.
I would think,
because better is him saying like "fuck you." I'm leaving.
Definitely.
I'm going to the Mets.
I get that, but it's like you almost can't wash that.
Let me wrap up with that clip from the Jeter doc. First of all, that Jeter doc, I think is bombing. I haven't seen much talk about it.
Not a lot of juice. Right? I only watched the first episode.
I haven't watched any of them. Have you guys been watching? Meek's probably been watching because he's a freak. Have you watched it?
I haven't watched anything.
Nope.
Wow. Yeah. If Meek's not watching, I feel like that, Jeets came onto social media for this to hype it up. And I feel like it just has no juice. But there's that clip that they put out from the ESPN Twitter account talking about the White Sox game early April in 2004. Jeter and A-Rod were alone in the dugout. A-Rod went up to him and said, "Are we good? I know there's some tension." And Jeter was like, kinda. And he said, in the documentary, he says, to give up your position like that, I could never do that. And so it doesn't translate to me. So I was asking him, what's that about? What's your agenda? Now, it's one thing if you said, I thought this guy was coming to New York to steal my spot. It's another thing to acknowledge that he has given up shortstop and moving, and that you just don't like that move as a man. Like, I wouldn't do that. And so the fact that you're doing that means I don't like you. It sounds like a very personal, petty, weird thing to get upset about. If you're acknowledging that you don't think he's here to steal your spot, and he went on to say that A-Rod never once, there was never even a whisper about giving up shortstop. The fact that Jeter openly says that that was why they had a problem, and A-Rod, he never was like, ended up squashing the beef with A-Rod, and that's what it was about. A guy who said, "I'll move for you," that's the problem. That was weird. Yeah. That was fucking very bizarre to me, and I thought a perfect example of why Jeter is actually a bad teammate as opposed to the captain who everyone loves. Why would that be your issue? He's not coming to steal your spot, never mentioned it, moved for you, acknowledged that, tried to clear the air, and you still were like, "Yeah, I don't really like you, man." Fuck that, dude. That is a bad teammate. That's not a great teammate or even a good teammate. That is straight up lame. And I can't believe you just openly said that. People were like, "Oh, that's a stretch. You're reaching here." I think that was as blatantly, like being difficult and self-centered as possible. Just because you wouldn't do something doesn't mean another guy has to play how you play. And he's doing it for you. Just be on the same page. Say that to the team, to the fans, to the media, and go win like 1,000 World Series. Instead, it was forever an issue the entire tenure for both of those guys. I thought that was crazy suspect that he said that out loud.
Yeah, I mean the other thing too is like it's great, and the Yankees won all those World Series in that short period of time, and they obviously stole one from us by injecting themselves with enough needles to fill the fucking East River, but that's for another topic. But if they don't win that 2009 World Series, I know it's like a huge hypothetical and like you don't want to go like crazy down a rabbit. They don't win that. Like, what are we talking about with the Yankees? Like history. Also, with the Red Sox winning 4, it's like at that point, like what? Then where do we put the Yankees? Like, what's going on there? But it's again, it's I listen. I hope the streak keeps going. Keep them out and let's go get one. Hopefully,
Yeah. Yep. I just think Jeter is like he is like a true alpha where he has that weird fucked up mentality for better or worse. He's almost like Jordan in that sense, which I don't want to compare him to Michael Jordan. He is like a crazy person when it comes to winning and shit. Where A-Rod, he picks on guys like Cousin Yuri. He pisses on his fucking rug instead of on Derek Jeter's rug.
Well, if someone came to Chicago and like openly bent the knee to Jordan and said like, "I'm just here to play with you, man," I don't think thered be an issue. I think he'd be like, all right, you're like my bitch. But like the way that Jeter just held on to that, being like, and that's another good thing. Like A-Rod deserves credit for that. Like he shouldn't have moved. He's the better player, the better defender. And he was like humble enough to say, I'll move. And that became a bad thing. That became why Jeter didn't like you. And that's why you always like left him out to dry. Fuck that, dude.
It was a small puzzle piece in a much bigger thing because he dragged him when he was in Texas. They left that part out.
Right.
He dragged him in some article, like basically belittling him as a shortstop. And then he tried to go to Boston, and then that deal fell through, and then Boone got hurt, and then he came here. So Jeter's like, you said that I was lesser than you.
Okay,
then you tried to go to my rival, and now you're showing up here, and you're like smiling like we're all good, and like, I don't know about this.
I know, but I mean, maybe he didn't want to say that in the doc, which in that case, why even do the doc? But the moving positions being the issue, why you have a problem. If that's not true and he was lying, then I get it much more. But for him to say that was the problem, I don't know, man. I would respect it more if he said, the dude has talked shit before. I don't like him. We're just going to play alongside professionally. That's a different story. But I don't know, man. I couldn't believe that he like openly said that and that people didn't view that as like a kind of a weird move.
Yeah, I always thought it was because of the article, and I felt like he probably just doesn't respect him too. Where he's like, you have the buddy that's like, you guys are cool, but not as cool as you did after someone did something fucked up, and I feel that's probably what Jeter did. Plus, you then tried to join my rival, that blew up in your face, and now I have to deal with you, and I have to deal with all these fucking questions. He probably didn't want a part of it. I have to just touch on this because we did promote it this way, and we never really got to it. But we'll be getting when a big trade goes down, we'll be doing an emergency pod. It'll be on the YouTube, so subscribe to the YouTube, watch the YouTube, all that good stuff.
What's your prediction? What do we get?
2 arms and 2 bats. Fuck it. We're going to go catcher and a bat, and then a lefty and a righty arm. Those are my predictions.
I got a name that's not sexy. I got a name that's not sexy. I've been saying it forever.
CJ Crone?
No, I do want him.
You're a Crone guy. You're a Crone guy.
Oh, yeah. I'm holding MVP tickets like he's the best. I would love to get him. I really do. He's top 10 in every fucking category. Like, he's really, really good. But nobody's really talking about it, and they're definitely sellers. What about Bumgarner? You put a guy like Bumgarner with his fucking mentality in this pitching room. I don't know. You tell me.
I don't think they need another starter. That's the thing. It's
I guess. I don't know.
Starters with everyone healthy.
If they do try to make a move for Contreras, does it look like Alvarez has to be included in that?
No, absolutely not. Alvarez,
that I'm all for trading prospects, but
I'll tell you this much: if Alvarez gets traded, it's going to be for Soto, it's going to be for Ohtani, it's going to be traded for God. That's what it is.
I saw a quote that said, and it was from I don't know who, so whatever. I don't know if it's true or not. JD Martinez for Dom Smith and a prospect. Is that on the table?
It could be what the end game is. Yeah.
I mean, it depends on which that prospect is, but I would do that in a fucking heartbeat.
I would drive, as my dad says, I would drive him to Boston.
Yeah. JD,
Dom going to the Cubs or the Red Sox having any value as a win, and I could root for Dom for either of those teams. Like, I'm rooting for Dom pretty much no matter what, unless he ends up on one of our fucking like legit rivals. So I want to do first of all, we have to say RIP to our boy Jenko down in the minors. I think I don't know if he cleared waivers. I don't know if he's in Syracuse, whatever's going on. The wig has been put aside for now, maybe brought back. We'll see. The Vogelbach Jenko tag team had the makings of an all-time great. I get on base, you run around the bases and score, and that's how we're going to win ball games late against, the Braves in October, September, whatever it may be.
Yep.
But then I want to do a marry, fuck, kill here. JD Martinez, Trey Mancini, Josh Bell. Fuck, marry, kill those three guys. I imagine Bell might be a little more richer than the other two, but I feel like if you had to choose one, who would you choose out of those guys? Martinez, Mancini.
I feel like Josh Bell probably has the best numbers overall out of those three. Am I right with that?
I think so.
I would say that Bell would probably be like the best hitter. JD Martinez, I feel like in the playoffs could be like an absolute hero. And Trey Mancini seems like a great like teammate, locker room guy. So I feel like all three of those dudes have a lot to offer. Of course, it matters what you give up in the package. But right now, I just feel like getting someone like JD Martinez, if it's for someone like Dom Smith and a prospect, and he goes off like he has in the postseason for the Red Sox, like that could be the ultimate steal, man.
JD Martinez is a guy we could have got a couple of years ago too that I wanted. So like, I don't know. You don't want to like
big time on that contract.
Yeah, you don't want to go get him like when it's a little late and chase the night, as they say.
All we need, man, is a good 3.
I don't know, Phil. You think Crone's a bad move? I still think Crone is fucking really good.
Well, I don't think he's going to be traded because the Rockies are just dumb. They probably think they're in a playoff hunt. I mean, they just extended Daniel Bard, who's 37 years old. So,
well, to go back though, we're doing marry, fuck, kill. I think I would have to just say, I was going to say marry, Bell, fuck JD, and kill Mancini, but I don't know. Like a week ago, I was all about Mancini, but put it this way: if those are the three, and we're like pretty confident we're going to get one of them. I don't know, but then also do you throw Contreras in that mix? Like, would you rather him than all those guys?
Contreras is hands down the best option available just because when we face right-handed pitching, you have 8 very good hitters and then a black hole hitting 9th. If we get Contreras, we have no holes in our lineup.
Right.
It also, it solidifies every position. Like you're strong everywhere.
Who do you have, marry, fuck, kill?
Although I don't know about Escobar playing third base full time, but
I was referring to Guillaume, Mary.
So Bell is almost like he's not even like real. I don't think they're going to get Bell. I just think he'll go to probably like Houston. We've been thinking that for a little bit, but I almost feel like, God. All right. So if I'm looking for the World Series, JD almost feels like that dude off the bench. Who is it? Tony Armas. You could pick off the bench in fucking RBI baseball, and it was like a cheat code basically. Yep. So I feel like that would be our Tony Armas, but Trey would be my fuck though, because it's he's good. He's a Buck guy, which if Buck loves him, I love him. There was a lot of Buck slander when Rico came on. I do not avow any of that. That is all disavowed from my side of it.
You horsed us on that one.
Yeah. But Trey is a Juju, and I'm a Juju guy, and him and Vogelbach, that's like Juju City. So Trey's my fuck, and Bell's my kill because I don't think it's happening. And like even like the catchers, Vasquez or Contreras, I'm pretty much just like anybody but James McCann in a big. I'll take Nito over James McCann.
Yeah. McCann's been he sucks.
1,000%. No,
he sucks. Also, why can't we just bring up Alvarez and give us a fucking look? Whatever.
He'll be called in September, right?
End on a positive note. Yeah.
I know I had to get we're at an hour and a half here. I had to get like a week's worth of fucking takes off my chest. So I know I was fucking babbling here, but we're back to normal. We're about to roll. Sweep coming up. We'll be on a 9-game win streak going into Atlanta if that happens. Is that at Atlanta? Yeah.
No, it's home. Kevin, it's home. Not only is it home, it's 5 games in 4 days. Barstool the ballpark, Saturday night, 7. It's game 2 of the doubleheader. Game 2. Jacob deGrom, strikeout counter, bobblehead night. As of now, Max Scherzer is pitching on Saturday. Whether that's game 1 or game 2, only Buck Showalter knows. He might not even know yet. But get your tickets now because they will sell out. And you get for $100, you get all you can drink beer for either 3 hours until the 7th inning. You get a ticket to the game against the fucking Electric City Field in the NLE Showdown, $18 food voucher, and a free Jacob deGrom bobblehead if you're one of the first 25,000. Maybe a Thursday, even if it's not. We'll probably have who? Peterson on the mound, I guess, would be our pitching is so fucking disgusting right now. Peterson just like getting his turn in the rotation. So get him now. Google Barstool the Ballpark Mets, and
but more importantly, tomorrow night, Tuesday night, the return of Jacob deGrom. We've been waiting for forever, and it's basically the return party. The game, hopefully he's lights out and we win it, but this is more about a celebration of a long road back. And if we get, the real Jake back, like if he comes in, if we're at the bar, we just did the double tap, everyone's drinking Coors Light, and he like strikes out the side in the first inning, the roof's going to blow off that joint. So come see us at 34th and 3rd tomorrow night, and then Barstool at the ballpark against the Braves. And in between
Enjoy
those,
it, boys. Let's go Mets.
you got to believe.
Gotta believe.
Gotta believe.
Plate discipline.